Hi everyone, it's me, Pastor Trevor, and I wanted to give you a quick rundown of how our sound equipment works. I've got this written out in documentation so that you can understand this better, but I thought, hey, why don't we just make a video? And that way you understand for sure how this process works. So it used to be that we did need this breaker panel here, but now everything runs off of those switches right there. So let me show you how this works. So when everything's off to start with, you want to start with the board. This is normal for any sound system. You want the board to come on first before your speakers. It's almost like you don't want to have blood flowing with no brain kind of thing. I like the word that Tyler just taught me recently, BAMP, board and then amps, and then do that backwards when you turn off the system. So when you turn off the system, it's speakers off first and then your board. So we'll walk through the process of how we turn the board on so that we get it on the right way, because we want it set up right. But first thing you're going to do is come over here. These switches are marked. We got soundboard, main speakers, and stage speakers. So let's go ahead and turn on our soundboard first. Once the soundboard kicks on over here, you can go ahead and come on over here and log in. Password is 4848 and click OK. Now the very first thing you want to do before you leave the console again is recall your scene. I will date these when I make major changes to them. So right now, the last change that I made was that I added our ability to control the side mains volume separately down here. So that was done back in October. If more changes get made, you'll want to probably add a new date to that. And I also have a duplicate here. Every time I store a scene, I also overwrite the dated scene as well as the duplicate in case you accidentally overwrite the other scene with something else. But yeah, you'll hit recall, and yes, and now your console is ready to go. Over here at the switches now, you'll want to flip both of those on. Those are going to handle the overhead speakers as well as the stage box that handles our digital snake. The digital snake is run out cable on the back of the board here. This black one on the right. It doesn't exactly have the right connector on it. It needs an XLR Ethernet connector on it, but for now, that's how that works. Once you get all this stuff turned on, the last step is to go over and turn on our side mains on either side. You'll want to start on the left side and go to the right side and do the opposite when you turn it off. So that speaker is daisy chained to that speaker. So if you turn that one on first, you just get a loud hum until you turn that one on. When you turn that one on, after you've turned that one on, it will make the other one pop. So you want to turn on left to right and turn off right to left. Let's do that now. I'm here at the right speaker. Go ahead and turn on that speaker and then go across. Come over here and now turn this one on. The switch on the back. Right there. And now it's good to go. Now you have the full capacity of our sound system turned on. Someone pointed out recently that our side mains right now do more than what the upper center mains do. And that is because those center mains are 30 years old. They probably need to be replaced here soon. But the room also needs acoustic treatment as well. But that's how you turn the system on. And let's go look back at the board here. You don't want to forget your group mutes. Your total mute is up top here. That's like an emergency button. That's like your e-stop. You don't want to use this during service. It will turn everything off all at once. You really only use your total mute when you're shutting the board down. You've got your band and your vocal mutes and then effects mute. You really only use that if someone who's singing is talking or if somebody happens to grab a vocal mic because they're having an issue with another mic on stage, because those effects are only driven into our vocal mics here. So you'll see, if you look at our effects setting, our reverb, and all that stuff, you know, those effects are only being sent to the mics and the instruments that they are supposed to. So you're not going to deal with, you know, the orange announcement mic having reverb in it, or the lapel mic, or the lavalier mic, I should say. So you also have a tap delay button. You can tap that to the rhythm of the music. Alexa has a soft button to mute her because she likes to talk unexpectedly. So it's good to keep that muted if you're not using it. And then you've got, on the soft keys over there, your PAFL clear. When you're using, when you're live on Sunday morning especially, but even any other time of the day, get in the habit of PAFLing so that you have headphone signal for the talkback mic that's on the stage. One other important thing to note is assignments. You know, so you've got some items that are assigned to the mains and some that are not. For instance, number 23, which is our click and guide, and you don't want that going through the house mains, so obviously that's not assigned to it. But if you ever run into an instance where you can't hear something somewhere and it's unmuted and you have signal coming through, the volume's all the way up, it might not be assigned to that item. For instance, we have two talk mics actually. Number 21 and 22 are both supposed to be talkback mics for two different people on stage if they want them. And recently we used one of those talkback mics as a vocal mic because we didn't have enough. And so I assigned it to the mains. I'm actually going to unassign it now so that it can be used as a talkback mic the way it's supposed to. And then you've got your mixes over here. Tap and make adjustments as needed, and you can use these little magnet letters to label them so you know who has what mixes. So you've got J for Jake on in-ear wired, which is our wired talkback or in-ear monitor, and you've got T for me, obviously, Tyler, TY on in-ear 3, and so on. We have other letters back here. So every Sunday, if you want, you can label these with those magnets to keep track of who is in what in-ears. And then you've got the stream mix as well. For the stream mix, if you want to mix in there, you have to be PAFLing so that you hear the headphones and what the stream is doing. So we do have someone mixing on the stream desk as well, but it's always good for you to get an idea of how that's sounding at the console as well. But things usually sound a lot different on the live stream as well. So that is really the gist of it, without getting into more depth of what this whole board can do. There are training videos that we used and have used for you to better understand this console specifically. And there's also another training video that I sent out to others that go into concepts of EQ and gain and compression and gate, all those things. So yeah, take a look at those, and you know, YouTube University is also a great tool. There you go. So when it's time to shut the board off, again, you want to make sure that anything that you just did gets saved. So over here, you want to go to make sure that you're selected on the right scene over here and hit store, and you just hit overwrite, yes, and there you go. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the duplicate, store, and yes. So now we have a copy of what we just did. You can also go through and assign what gets saved and what can't be changed, basically. So you have all these parameters here that will affect what gets recalled when you recall a scene. So when you select filter, that's what that does. So after you've saved the scene, you actually want to go ahead and shut the speakers off first. The main thing that makes the speakers pop is actually the power. So even if you shut the console down before you do this step, it's not going to hurt the speakers, but you do actually want to turn off those side mains first, because again, that speaker is being supplied signal from our digital snake. And so if you turn this off before you turn those side mains off, those will pop too. So we'll actually want to walk out there and turn those off now. So we'll do that. Remember, like I said before, turn on left to right and turn off right to left. So we'll turn that off. But we'll go ahead and turn this one off as well. And now that those are off, we're safe to turn off the rest of the amplifiers. So these will turn off our speakers. So we'll turn off our stage speakers, which handles all of our in-ears and stuff. And then we've got our mains. And before we throw the last switch, I want to come over here and go to home. If for some reason you don't see shutdown here, it's probably because you're in one of these other tabs. Sometimes that can happen. So you want to make sure you're in home and shut down. Yes, shutting down, and now I'll say it's safe to shut it down. You can throw the switch, and there you go. When those are orange, that means everything is off. When they're not lit up, that means everything's on. If for whatever reason you find that despite everything being unmuted or getting signal, but nothing is coming through, double, triple check that you don't have a group mute on or something like that. But if that is the case where things are just not working, even though by all appearances they should be, it's likely that this has had a processing issue and it needs to be restarted. So you can just go through the shutdown process like normal and turn it back on again. And that should resolve the issue. So that is how our setup here works. On the other side, in the sanctuary, it's the same process as far as booting the board on, logging in, and recalling the scene. However, there's one difference, which is everything is powered on by one power button above the board. It's the power strip that's right there. So we'll walk over there and we'll show you that. Okay, so over here on this side, it's the exact same board. The mixes are a little bit different, but they are all labeled and they all work the same way. Assistant listening is this device here, which doesn't really get used a lot, and that's mainly because the sound quality is lacking quite a bit. So if you want an assisted listening device, you'll probably have to upgrade this unit here. I've tested it multiple times and there's just static. It's pretty bad. So that doesn't really get used. We've tried to use it before and people just kind of complain about it. So anyway, this console works the same way. When you push the power button right here, everything will come on all at once. Again, that's not a good setup. I would recommend changing it so that you can turn your console on first and then turn on your amps, which are down there. So, but yeah, right now when you press that button, everything will come on. You can log into the board just like you would on the other side. And then up front, there's one other piece that you'll want to know to shut down and turn off or turn on. A lot of times the band remembers to do this step, but if they don't, you want to make sure that gets done. There's a power strip right here that handles power to the digital snake as well as the handheld mics. So you want to make sure there's a switch on the front of it right here. You want to make sure that gets flipped on. Otherwise, none of these inputs or outputs will work. And then there's also usually plugged in here a powered stage monitor, and that's got a little switch on the back of that as well that you'll want to turn on. You could always leave it on and just plug it to the power at that power strip there, and that would probably save you the trouble of having to remember to turn that monitor off. But yeah, for now, that's how this stuff works. Pretty straightforward. You've also got lighting up here, worth knowing about. Sometimes this gets left on, but you have the switch for the cross light right here. You want to remember to turn that off after service is over. A lot of times that gets left on by mistake. And then stage lights as well, which are right there. So that's about everything that you should need to know. Again, when you turn the system off over here, you want to make sure that you save your scene. Anything that you've changed, you want to make sure that gets saved for next service. So that is about it. So there you go.